And this is when he went after, without using his name, Colin Kaepernick. Take a look.
Wouldn't you love to see one of these NFL owners, when somebody disrespects our flag, to say, get that son of a bitch off the field right now, out, he's fired. He's fired! When people like yourselves turn on television and you see those people taking the knee when they're playing our great national anthem, the only thing you could do better is, if you see it, even if it's one player, leave the stadium. I guarantee things will stop. Things will stop. Just pick up and leave.
And Karine, Jemele Hill, who, a lot of this recently was about when the White House demanded that she be fired by ESPN for saying that Donald Trump is a white supremacist. She tweeted this tonight. Prediction: not one NFL owner, not Roger Goodell, will say one word about what he said about Cap or other NFL players. Not a one. Why are you even bringing up Kaepernick's name at a political rally in Alabama? Never mind. I know the answer. Your thoughts?
Well, good for her for still speaking up.
Yeah.
Amen to her. Look, so much for the president for promoting the Constitution and the First Amendment, right? I mean, that's what he's supposed to be doing. At the end of the day, not only is Donald Trump a petulant child, he's a racist. He was a racist in the 70s. He was one in the 80s. He was one in the 90s. He was one when he first stepped into the political arena. He was one when he kicked off his presidential campaign. And now, unfortunately, he's using this bullhorn to really push racism further and further. And he is the president of the United States. He's the person who is sitting in the Oval Office signing executive orders behind the Resolute desk.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And but at the same time, Kurt, he's also somebody who knows his audience, right? I mean, he's a guy who is selling $40 hats to a certain audience. He's tweeting out $29. You can have this gold card with Donald Trump's face on it. He knows who his audience is, and that is exactly what they want to hear, right?
It's the same audience that was infuriated by his working with Democrats to try to find a solution to DACA. It's also the same audience that he catered to when he pardoned someone who believed it was standard operating procedure for law enforcement to racially profile people. Really, when something like this happens, I think this is where we have to look at the NFL, at the owners, at the players to make a stand this weekend. Some of these owners gave $1 million to Donald Trump. Dan Snyder here in Washington, D.C., who owns the Washington Redskins, Jerry Jones in Dallas and the Dallas Cowboys, Bob Kraft, New England. There's going to be a lot of eyeballs on the NFL this weekend to see how they react to it. Will the league step in and say, you know what, no, it's not right to terminate someone because they exercise their First Amendment to speak. It's not right to try to take someone's employment away because they are exercising their belief and demonstrating that they are discriminated against as a class in this country, and that's a way that they're going to show that. How the players respond will also be interesting. People like Russell Wilson, leaders in this league, Aaron Rodgers. I don't care if you're white or black or Hispanic. If you play in the NFL and you heard what the president said tonight, you have an obligation to stand up and speak out against it.
Yeah, and meanwhile, EJ, in doubling down on the marketing that he does essentially to the base that he sells hats to, Donald Trump led a familiar chant at this rally tonight. Let's take a listen to that.
You got to speak to Jeff Sessions about that.
And of course, EJ, that is again lock her up about Hillary Clinton, somebody who is not in public office, is not running against him anymore. But there's still a saliency to that sort of guttural chant against a woman who dared to run against him for president.
No, that's right. And the main reason he ended up passing Clinton in those key states is because of he played on anti-Clinton feelings. And he has always done his politics by attacking someone. The biggest target is Hillary Clinton, but there was also Little Marco. There was also Lion Ted. Donald Trump doesn't know how to do politics without an enemy. What's inconvenient for him, as you say, is she's not running against him. She's not going to run against him again. He's tried to take runs at former President Obama. That didn't work well. But I think with Donald Trump, he is going to be at Hillary Clinton for the next 3 years because he doesn't know what to do without her.
Yeah, and I mean, Karine, it's hard not to feel that, when you combine that with go right back to those buttons, those T-shirts, the vile things that people were wearing on their bodies, including women, about her. this resonance of racial and misogynistic imagery among his base says something not just about Donald Trump, but about a chunk of the American electorate that follows him and that loves this stuff and is passionate about it.
That's exactly right. It is a sweet spot, if you will, for him. It's been more than 300 days since the election, but he still uses Hillary Clinton as a foil, and he will for a very, very long time. That's all that he knows. Instead of focusing on North Korea, instead of focusing on the territories and the states that were impacted by a hurricane, instead of being presidential, he goes back to that sweet spot of his, especially in front of this rally. And he doesn't know anything else. And let's not forget, what did we find out this week about Russia? We found out that Mueller and the top investigators are zeroing in on Donald Trump. So this is him feeling backed into a corner and reacting. So there's a lot here, I think, that's playing into this behavior that we continuously see.
And Kurt, you know, to Karine's point, this is also a time when Puerto Rico is suffering mightily, when Mexico itself is suffering, you know, after natural disasters. And here's Donald Trump bringing back yet another classic from his campaign, something that we all now know is not going to happen, and that, of course, is the wall that he claimed Mexico was going to pay for. Take a listen.
By the way, the wall is happening, folks. You know, it has to be a see-through wall. We're renovating the existing wall, and we are going to have as much wall as we need. You don't need it all the way. Somebody said, well, what are you going to do? You're going to build that wall in the middle of the river? Are you going to, that nobody can go in? Are you going to build that wall on the mountain? I said, you don't need the wall on the mountain. You have a mountain, which is a wall. But we're going to build the wall.
It's quite a climb down, Kurt, but he's still saying it. Why do Donald Trump's fans still believe that?
You know, Trump spent his entire campaign talking about how he's going to build a wall, and by the way, that Mexico was going to pay for it, not the American taxpayers. And again, he kind of walked away from that a little bit when he made the DACA deal, potentially with Democrats. His base went crazy. They started burning the hats and the Make America Great hats and everything. And so now he's back to trying to throw them some red meat and to talk. I mean, what the hell is a see-through wall, by the way? I don't even know what he's talking about.
Like, what?
You know, a window? I guess it's a window.
So a solar paneled wall. I mean,
yeah.
So he doesn't even know what he's talking about. You know, is the point. Yeah. He's just, it's verbal diarrhea.
I think, you know, he gave away about 3/4 of the wall in that speech. If you heard all of the places we're not building a wall and we're renovating an existing wall.
It's a reno. It's a reno. It's HGTV. Kurt Bardella, Karine Jean-Pierre, EJ Dionne, thank you all.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.